Hey, welcome to my channel. If you like the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today we have something special. Are you comfy? Let's get into it. Homines Nocturna. Homines Nocturna has been stalking, kidnapping, and drinking the blood of humans for thousands of years. They are the reason. Automatonophobia exists. The fear of human-like figures that don't seem quite right. Our ancestors knew what it was like to be prey. The fear of being hunted and snatched to be something's food, or to bear its offspring. Incidents may have died down in the modern world, but they are still out there, with a thirst for blood. These creatures still stalk humans today. You have no doubt heard of them many times before, but by different names, depending on where you are in the world. But who or what are these monsters? Where did they come from? Let's go back to the beginning. The story goes, thousands of years ago, a godlike race of ancient beings known as the Anunnaki came to Earth in search of gold. They landed in the area of Mesopotamia. These deities were people of great knowledge. The reason for them coming here, amongst other reasons, was to mine for gold. The atmosphere on their planet had become inhabitable due to their ozone layer failing, leaving a giant hole in it, exposing them to extreme temperatures. Gold happens to possess the perfect reflective elements to fix their environment by grinding the gold into a powder and releasing it into their atmosphere. There are thousands of videos available online to check out the full story on the Anunnaki and other deities. The problem was, extracting the gold was very tiresome and laborious. This kind of work was far below the deities to carry out. Why should they spend so many years doing this manual work? Eventually they revolted. This forced the Anunnaki leaders to find an alternative. With their ancient knowledge of genetics, they were able to splice together DNA from many bipedal animals and pre-humans already on Earth, with added DNA from themselves to create the humans we are today, a species made in their image. The species would need to be strong enough to carry out this backbreaking work, intelligent enough to take orders, but with the correct style of leadership, have no desire to create another uprising. This is believed by many to be the origins of the human race. There were many attempts and failures using all different types of DNA from all different types of species available to them. They would need certain elements of strong animals, able to withstand the strength needed for the strenuous labor. The being needed to be able to fight diseases and illnesses, and most importantly, require minimum intervention, a being that can fend for itself. The creators did not get this right. The first time, or many times before, eventually creating humans. One such failure was the Homines Nocturna. The Homines Nocturna were made up from the very strongest animals and pre-humans. To further experiment, the creators added certain elements from the shark. The reason for this, having studied sharks, they found that they have the ability to fight all diseases and cancers. They were tough, durable, perfect eyesight, and strong. In theory, this made sense, and they continued with their creation. But when this creature was completed, it was evident they had gone too far. The shark DNA was removed in future creations on their way to creating humans, but not before they had created a predator so extreme, so brutal. They had created the first super predator. The problem being, no matter how many times they swapped and changed the elements of the DNA, the Homines Nocturna could not switch off its thirst for blood. And when it needed to feed, there was nothing they could do about it. It had also inherited the tools to be a complete killer. With its black eyes, razor-sharp teeth, and unreasoning, it was completely feral. It would attack and bite anything that moved. Its thirst for blood was its only focus. It would bite, break, and rip at the flesh of the creators constantly. There were major attacks where the deities lost their lives in gruesome ways. It was agreed that this beast had to be killed or released into the world to fend for itself. They decided that not killing would allow them to maybe study it in the future, but right now it had to go. Once banished, the Nocturna had the whole world to discover, but it remained close to the population. It knew where its food was, so why would it leave? It stayed in the shadows, in the heart of darkness, caves, in the winter, watching surviving. This went on for many years. The Nocturna mostly fed on the beasts of the forests and mountains, but occasionally, when possible, it would still attack the deities at night, sometimes being successful. The Nocturna watched on as humans were created. They watched as the humans unknowingly created a lifetime supply of food for the Nocturna. It came to be after many years that Anunnaki had their fill of gold and returned to their own planet. Humans were left to evolve for themselves. As the centuries passed, humans began to spread out all over the globe, build societies, cities, and evolve into what we are today. People would still go missing. In all countries, each country had its own story to tell about the Nocturna as the populations grew. And the attacks in comparison reduced over the centuries. The Homines fades in to myth and legend. They turned into scary stories to tell youngsters as to not venture too far at night, as they may be watching and stalking. Little did they know the Nocturna had also been going through their own evolution throughout the centuries. Although beasts, they had evolved into the perfect predator. Some believe they would kidnap women to breed with. Over the years, the Nocturna not only adapted their appearance through this selective breeding, but also the way they lived, the way they hunted. They were no longer in the fringes of society, but integrated. It got to the point where the Nocturna could blend in with humans, and it was, and still is, very hard to point one out in a crowd, or even face to face. Maybe you have met one yourself and not realized it. Over the millennia, the Nocturna have gone through many changes, been known by so many different names. Today we know them as vampires. Thank you for sticking around until the end, folks. Again, if you like the story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time.